Welcome to this week's Whole Wheat Costa. Tonight, only Kev has a beer because I've drank 5 beers so far. Well, 4 were mini beers, but if I drink another beer, I'll pass out halfway through the podcast. So Kev has, it's from a variety pack, the Longshore Lager from Flying Fish Brewery, which we've had a bunch of times from Somerdale, New Jersey.
Onshore lager, since I'm not drunk yet.
Oh, onshore lager. I can't see it from here. I thought it said longshore.
The description is, our home is surrounded by a breathtaking stretch of ocean and beautiful waterways. An onshore lager is our tribute to the environment.
Actually, Flying Fish's home is behind a movie theater and Applebee's.
Now, I'm pretty sure breathtaking stretch of ocean and beautiful waterways.
Oh, I've been to Flying Fish. So
Breathtaking. Is it a breathtaking Applebee's?
no,
Is there an ocean painted on the back of it? Maybe they're confused.
nah, they were like real excited about Somerdale, New Jersey.
Brewed without adjuncts, this beer pour a golden color. I think we're missing a word. And German style hops provides a crisp, clean finish. Yeah.
Okay.
15
want-
IBUs.
Yeah, you want to crack it open?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's a lager, so it's very like it's a good tasting Yingling. Like if you're a beer fan. If you're not a beer fan, you're like, oh, this is a terrible Yingling. So what do we got?
Yeah, it is Yingling-esque.
Yeah,
I get that.
So yeah, I know. Yeah,
But it's better. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Yingling fan. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll drink them
yeah.
on top of like Bud Light, but
So
or any
tonight
light beers.
for tonight's podcast, or day or morning, depending on when you listen.
Yeah, could be anytime.
Yeah, on poop. You can only listen while you poop. I don't care
Yeah,
as long as you're
That's-
listening.
that's the best time to listen. Some
Yeah.
might say.
We watched John Wayne's film from 1956, The Searchers.
The
I think
Searchers.
it's the director. I think it's their 15th collaboration together.
I think 14. I think they had 14
14th.
together.
Yeah. Who's the director, Kev?
Ford.
Okay, we're gonna go with John Ford for now.
John Ford.
Yeah. So The Searchers is about, and he gets into it. He is a former Confederate States captain or
Yes.
colonel cavalryman. He visits his brother, which another part I'll get into about how much gold he gave him because I did
Yeah.
the math on it.
It's real shady.
It's a lot of gold. He goes to his brother's yard, his house, and like there's obviously animosity because his brother's like, so when are you leaving? He's like, I can pay my way. And the brother's like, yeah, I know you can pay your way. I just want you to leave.
There's a fan theory about the animosity. By the
All
way.
right, we'll get into
We'll
that
get to it.
later. Yeah, so he goes, and then so the Comanche, as it will be throughout the movie called the Comanche, they do this ploy where the cattlemen are the cattle from like herders are tricked so that the Comanche can go pillage this house and kill the family.
Yeah.
So they do this
murder
ploy
raid.
to bring all the killers, like I guess the Rangers or whatever, out to go like hunt down these Comanche. And while they're doing that, the other Comanche come in and destroy this farm. So they come back, and only one son's there, who's 1/8 Cherokee, which
I think it's 1/8 Comanche.
1/8. Anyway, he's
Yeah.
1/8, and John Wayne blatantly goes, "What are you, some kind of half breed?" And he's like, "You're my uncle."
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm an adopted son. So they go on. So the younger brother, the mom, the dad are killed. The 2 daughters are kidnapped. One is used as a wife, which we find out later. The younger one is taken as a wife. The older one is brutally raped and murdered.
Mm.
So they do this 5-year-long journey looking for the people that kidnapped and still have the younger daughter alive.
Yeah.
They find her. She doesn't want to go. And then later on, they hunt them down again with the help of the rest of the Rangers. But there's also a second story about his character, Martin, who they just have around so that they can help explain like what's going on in the film, which is very boring. Like they could have cut out like probably 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, there's
and the
this-
movie would have been like I really like the movie, but the whole Martin part and the George McCoy part, very boring. And like it would have been, I think it would have been higher on the list if they cut out this subplot. So, Kev, what did you think about the movie?
Well, interesting. I was trying to think about why. So if you go back to early, American Film Institute lists, this was very high on the list. I think in the late '90s, this was number 12.
Oh, really?
Now it's number 96.
Oh, wow.
So I wonder if that's a reaction to the racism in the movie, or if it's a reaction to just the fact that it wasn't like paced very well. Like it's not like it has a lot of problems as a movie. I mean, but I've noticed a lot of these old movies. It's sort of a different curve than today. Like there's these really long second acts, and then like you just have this really fast climax that's like 10 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And then there's like a minute or two of like resolution afterwards.
I think we talked about this. Have you ever seen another cowboy movie?
I've seen 2 now.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I mean like before 1991 or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So the cowboy movies back then, people are very like in the last 10 years or whatever are very like weird about racism and everything.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, it is unacceptable, but I came out wrong. But they're like, it's unacceptable.
Weird about racism nowadays. Like, we don't even like it anymore.
No, sorry. That's not what I meant. It's like they're weird. Like we shouldn't do this because it's unacceptable now, and it should have been unacceptable back then.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it: times change.
Yeah.
And like they want to like get rid of a lot. Like it's unacceptable, but it's part of our history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things that people should know about, people should learn about. And like this wasn't racism against the Mexicans, because this movie takes place for like 3 years after the Civil War. The very like first scene of the movie, when they get the first raiding party before the Comanche like do their ploy to like kill this family.
Yeah.
They're like the sheriff / priest of the town is like, hey, you want to take an oath? And he's like, no, I don't. John Wayne goes, no, I don't want to take an oath. And he's like, why not? You want it? He's like, you do fit the description of people, which I thought was really weird because John Wayne's 6'4", 240 pounds.
Yeah.
Which he wouldn't fit the description of anybody because everybody's like 5'6". But anyway.
He had a lot of money.
Yeah. So he goes, no. He's like, I don't want to take an oath because I already took one oath to the Confederate States of America. And right then and there you go, well, this guy's kind of racist. You know what I mean?
But I think the implication is after that he fought in the Mexican-American War. Although I thought that happened before the Civil War.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So here, right now, it's taking place during the American Indian Wars.
American Indian War. Okay.
Yeah, this is the American Indian Wars takes place. So like their hatred, their enemy is the Indians.
Yeah.
So like that racism, like they really like during that time they did kind of belittle and make them lesser of a human. So the racism wasn't like they shouldn't have a racist like 1950s film. That racism was true to history.
Well, one thing that was so interesting about this movie is because it's right in the cutoff. So this is in the 50s. You know, we've seen movies from the 60s which pretty directly deal with racism. So you're right at the time period where people are starting to be aware of that. So I watched half the movie this morning. I was going to watch it last night. I was super tired. I've been to the gym in almost a week, which I totally feel in my body. Because it's been a weird week.
No one cares about that so far.
They do. So friggin' 4th of July and stuff. I had to work 4th of July. It was terrible.
Can we get back to the movie?
Yeah. So I was gonna watch it last night, but I fell asleep. So I started watching the movie at 6 a.m. this morning. I watched an hour of the movie. I just started watching it at like 5:30 this morning. Watched like an hour of the movie. Got a shower. Went to work. The end of the workday, I watched the rest of the movie. So in the car at some point today, I was telling Helly about the movie, and I was like, well, I really need to get to that. I was like, I really don't like watching movies the same day and talking about them because I need a couple days to think about them. I don't even know yet if this movie's racist or not. Like,
it's just the era of the time.
No,
like,
but it's not at all. Like there's a whole.
It is the period of the time in 1960 or 1868.
Yeah,
it is. That's just the thing about it.
Well, no, the time obviously that time was racist, but
I'm saying that it's based on the Indian wars at the time. It's not like they were like they didn't head out to make a racist movie. They head out to make a period movie.
No, I think they did intend to talk about race. That's the point I'm getting to.
Well, the thing about there's a part right before so when all the Rangers are out the first time because the Indians set up this ploy, or it's like they say throughout the movie, Injun, which is a hilarious word,
or Comanche.
Yeah. The thing is, like the older girl, she screams, and Rachel goes, "Well, why'd she scream?" And I go, "Well, they've been told their entire life that if the Comanche or Indians come after them, they will brutally rape and murder them." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." 20 minutes later, the Indians brutally rape and murder her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's basically what's happening today is that the silent majority are okay people. Like you see a bunch of other Native American tribes that are fine. They're peaceful. They want to trade and everything. It's that 1%, the violent majority, that everyone hates, and they make a bad point for everyone. So I think it really, like, even today you have Muslims today where most of them are peaceful, and it's that 1%, like 1-2% that's very like violent and everything, and we have propaganda that says they're all bad guys. So it's that same propaganda that you still hit 150 years later.
No, but I mean, obviously that time was racist. My point, when John Ford sat down to make this movie, he could make it as racist or as not racist as he wanted. I think he made it in the middle purposely, because my point was gonna be so halfway through the movie, I didn't know if I was supposed to feel that if I was supposed to be okay with John Wayne's racism in the movie against Indians, or am I supposed to be like, oh wow, he's really racist, therefore a flawed character.
Oh, I don't think I think we're supposed to like Martin, who's his partner. Yeah. Like he's an everyman. He's just an idiot. Like he fumbles with his letter. Like he accidentally marries a squaw. Yeah. Like he's an everyman. I don't think we're supposed to like John Wayne. I don't think we're supposed to like him because he mysteriously has the equivalent of $222,000 on him. Yeah. And then like people are like throughout the movie, like, you're not a good guy. Like, I don't trust you. And like he's adamant about, even in the 50s, like that's not cool to be like, oh, I was a Confederate person. Like I don't think they write it to make John Wayne's character good. Like he didn't try to understand until the end. Like he didn't, Lucy, the younger daughter, Debbie. They tried 5 years to find her. When they find her, she's like, just go away. And John Wayne's like, well, I'm going to kill her because I'd rather her live. I'd rather be her dead than live as an Indian. Yeah. And then like right before that, they went to go kill the buffalo, and he's like pissed off. So he just keeps killing buffalo. And Martin's like, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I don't want them to eat all these buffalo this winter. It was a herd of buffalo. Like, how many are you going to kill? Like, he was... I think, like, they made him, like, a racist, non-likable character.
But there were probably some people that watched this in the 1950s who just still felt that way about Native Americans.
Oh, definitely.
So I don't... I think he tried to skirt things in the middle where some people would just watch it and be like, oh, this is a Western, got to kill those Indians, John Wayne's his hero. And then some people would watch it and say, oh wow, he's real racist. And like, and I think you would have had audiences that came away with pretty different viewpoints of him in the 1950s, which I think is what makes it an interesting movie, is part of why it's on this list.
Well, my thing about it is because like I've watched Indian, so I know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like remember we watched the movie Unforgiven, and they break down that cowboy mythos, like they just destroy it and everything. This is a cowboy. You know what I mean? He's always good with shots. He'd kill anything. Like he's tough. He's smart, and like I know what to expect. Like he's gonna hate Indians. Like he's gonna do bad things. Like he's not a good guy. Like cowboys, a Hollywood thing, but like Hollywood cowboys are, he in this movie he didn't wear a white hat. He didn't wear a black hat. he wore a gray hat.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't good or bad.
Yeah.
He's like we talked about last week or the week before. He did what it took to
Hmm.
get what he needed to do. Like very American, but he was racist along the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much it was just in the background of racism, and it was because like look watching it, it's like, oh well, this is a revenge story, you know, about how revenge is bad. But then it's kind of not, because what happened to the vengeful characters? I mean, Scar. I mean, well, the one thing racialized that was interesting is that they gave Scar basically the same backstory. So the reason why Scar hates white people because white people killed his sons.
Right.
John Wayne hates Indians because Indians killed his family.
Right.
So they're really very similar people, which is interesting if you look at it race relation wise, because then, I mean, you know, hopefully those people that would have watched it back then that would have thought like, oh wow, it's totally fine that John Wayne wants to kill these Indians, would have been like, oh wait, this Indian's not much different than John Wayne in this story.
Right.
So that's one of the interesting things they did. But watching it again about halfway through, because I had time to think about the first half of the movie more. Halfway through, you're thinking like, okay, well, he's going to go on this crazy journey. You know, he doesn't really have anything to lose, John Wayne, because, you know, he's sort of set up as this, you know, this typical like anti-hero character where he's just this loner guy, and like and like it kind of feels like he doesn't even care if he dies. So like he really has nothing to lose, but like everybody that follows him does have stuff to lose.
Right.
And you're thinking like, well, they're going to lose everything. Like Martin's going to lose the girl. Like
Martin's going to lose his life.
he's going to lose his life. He's going to lose the girl. I don't even remember the first fucking guy, Ben, the sister's boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
Ben, maybe we'll call him Ben.
Yeah.
I think it's Ben. Fucking Ben. I even forgot about Ben. He dies so early, and his is straight revenge. He just charges in with no thought of even winning and just starts shooting
Right.
engines. So, so I don't know if maybe the story is supposed to turn at that point a little bit. Like that's the apex for revenge, and then you know things sort of level out after there. Because the other characters aren't quite as blinded as he is. But I don't know. The fan theory.
Real quick,
Yeah.
before you get to the fan theory,
Yeah.
I think this movie does it. I think it's a very fair movie on both sides. I mean, we follow our characters, but like there only a couple times, like the end, you're like, oh, he's kind of a good guy. Like Martin's are everyman,
Yeah.
you know, and at the end, John Wayne doesn't even kill Scar.
Yeah.
Martin does.
Yeah.
And
Martin
he gets
kills
his
him.
sister. You know what I mean? And he's
But then John Wayne scalps him, right?
yeah.
That's what he's
I
doing.
mean, yeah. He's you know they show like the extremes. Like those two guys are men that like have been wronged by the other people. There's a reason why they would hate each other.
Yeah.
Just like based off like I've mentioned before. Like there's really two types. There's like learned and taught. Like you could be taught racism. Like those two men learned racism through actions. Like they just like an Indian killed his family. He hates all Indians. A white man killed his sons. He hates all white men. Like he doesn't. They don't take every individual. They take an entire race, and they're like, "Well, you're the same person." But at the end and everything, the hero is Martin.
Yeah.
Like he rescues his sister.
Yeah. You know, this could be sort of an anti-racism movie because of the very last shot. Because the very last shot is they frame John Wayne standing. You know, everybody goes inside. They frame John Wayne outside. We see him through the door on the outside looking in, and then
Right.
the door closes. So the two characters that were totally driven by vengeance and racial hatred are Scar and John Wayne's character, Ethan. So, and Scar dies for it because Scar, you know, hates white people so much that he just murders and rapes white people. Seemingly, I mean, what did he benefit from killing, you know, Ethan's brother's family? Like
Nothing.
like seemingly just for hatred. And well, he even says it. He says for every one of my sons that they killed, like I have taken multiple scalps.
Right.
So pure hatred. And then on Ethan's part, you know, he wants to kill, he has the pretense of wanting to get Debbie back, but he really wants to just kill Indians because once he finds Debbie's Indian, he wants to kill her. So just again pure racial hatred, and in the end, he's on the outside looking in because everyone because no one else has the hatred in their heart that he does, so he doesn't fit in anymore in the world.
He never enters the house again.
Yeah,
he's just like, see you guys later, and he like leaves.
Yeah, because he's not part of that work,
Right.
Which again, 1950s, the message could be, that type of thinking doesn't have as much of a place in the world anymore, as it did in the past.
Right.
And that, those sort of people will sort of be on the outside looking in. I mean, it's been 60 years later and still not completely, but at least more than before that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the hatred. If you place yourself in 1868,
yeah,
that hatred, like if you look at his character as a Confederate soldier,
yeah,
you could kind of see where he is, like what he fought for. Like if you know the historical context, you could tell like what he fought for and what he's doing. And then like he gets in the Indian American War, like you could tell what he's done. Like he doesn't want to be a part of America anyway.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a part of it. Like that's not his America. So there's no point of even entering the house. No point for him. He only did it because they're his niece. Like if his nephew was kidnapped, I don't think he would have went after him.
So did he know after a while that she was going to be assimilated into the Comanche culture, or
Probably.
or was that a surprise when he got there? Like was there some time frame where he was like, I'm probably going to kill her when I find her?
Yeah, no, he's already resigned himself before he went out that he'd rather have his family dead than living as a Comanche.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I laugh at the word Injun because it's basically the rudest word possible.
Yeah.
Like it's such an ignorant word.
Yeah.
Like I mean they threw it around and everything, but it's like,
is it just a bastardization of Indian, or does it mean something else?
I think it's a bastardization of like Indian.
Because I honestly don't know what it means if it means something else.
But every time I hear it, like I giggle. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just like when you meet anyone on the street, like get to know them as a person, you know? Like but something we also should probably talk about is that there was no racism towards the Mexicans.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it seems like I guess in other Western movies, that I've seen clips of, because again I watch a bunch of clips of Clint Eastwood movies after a couple weeks.
Yeah, The Man with No Name hates Tuco. Yeah, because he's Mexican.
Yeah, but I feel like in this movie though, like there's no, the Mexicans. I don't know, and I kind of wonder from that time period, like the Texans think themselves that different than Mexicans. Like, did they identify more with Mexican people than with, say people from Pennsylvania?
Well, Texas has always been a proud state.
Yeah.
At one point, it was a proud territory. At one point, it was a proud country.
Yeah, and at one point, it was part of Mexico.
Yeah, so it's like all that stuff. Like Texicans are Texicans.
Yeah.
Like even today, like if you go like oh, are you an American? I'm a Texican. Like they are very proud. But then another part, like, could it be like they didn't care? They didn't need to hate. He didn't need to hate two people.
Yeah.
But then again, in real life, John Wayne spoke perfect Spanish. Mm. He married a Mexican actress and then a Peruvian actress. So like, I haven't watched a lot of his.
You like the big butts?
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, like, I don't think he wanted to add that like Mexican racism into his character, you know. So I think it would have been bad. So, but he did when he met his brother in the very beginning of the film, there was animosity. Like the brother's like, "When are you leaving?" And John Wayne's like, "I can pay my own way." He handed him a bag of 60 double eagles. Yeah. And then 100, and he's like, "I got another 120 double eagles." So I looked it up. I paused the movie. I looked it up. A double eagle is 9.675 troy ounces of gold. It was $20 in like 1848.
Yeah.
So it's probably like $20 in 1868 or close to that or whatever. And I did the inflation of like ounces per gold and everything. And I can actually, it's actually on my
I
phone.
think it was like $222,000 or something.
Yeah. So I don't care. Like if you have a $180 $20 bills, especially right after Civil War, it's $222,389 today.
Yeah.
55 cents. So I don't care who you are, even today, like having 180 $20 bills, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or sorry, $20 gold coins.
Yeah. So he definitely stole that money is the implication. But what I'm trying to say this whole podcast, the reason why his brother hated him is because Debbie was his kid.
Debbie was his kid?
So that's the theory because there's a lot of unspoken chemistry between Ethan and Debbie's mom, whose name I forget. His
mom,
his brother's
his sister-in-law.
wife. Yeah, a lot of like tender glances between him and his sister-in-law, and he left he left 8 years ago, and Debbie's 8.
Oh, okay.
So the fan theory is that part of why he was so obsessed with finding Debbie, it wasn't just his niece, it was actually his daughter. And then that's part of why he's sort of on the outside at the end, because he knows he's sort of been living this life this whole time, so he'd rather just be like leave her there to be taken care of than, be around her and know it's really his daughter.
Oh.
So
she's a whore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
no, she's dead.
Yeah.
Which
Which happens when you're a whore,
But
obviously.
why? How do you get so much money? Because he's still throughout the movie.
He 100% stole it because he was just a Confederate soldier.
Yeah, because throughout the movie,
Yeah.
he was still like paying people in gold coins.
Yeah.
At the bar with the Mexican guy,
Yeah.
he throws a bag of gold coins. He's like, "Where's Debbie? Where's Scar? No,
Yeah.
sorry, where's Scar?"
Well, the money was pretty well hidden. It was they made a point to establish that. So I feel like he probably got that money back.
Yeah, he would have to go get that money back.
Yeah.
But
Just because it was only him that went into the burning house, nobody else.
But Kev,
Yeah.
think about it. Just imagine giving someone today
Yeah.
180 ounces
Yeah.
of gold.
Yeah.
Like, here, I can pay my own way. No, you could just buy your own ranch.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he felt guilty because he banged his wife.
Yeah.
So that's probably the issue.
Yeah. Oh, so there's a company we shipped to. They were up in Massachusetts. This has some relevance. Don't worry. I'm getting to a point. And they bought a
Owned by Indians.
yeah. The new address is in Jonestown, PA, which I have no idea where Jonestown is.
Yeah.
Right. It's a 32-acre farmhouse. Right. So I was like, "You guys sure?" They're like, "Yeah, that's the address they gave it to." And I looked it up. This company bought this 32-acre plot of land in Jonestown, PA.
Yeah.
You want to take a guess at how much?
Oh,
Take a guess. 32 acres.
$500,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exact amount. But like I grew up in Jersey.
Yeah. I'm pretty up in my Jonestown real estate.
Yeah. I grew up in Jersey. An acre here is $45,000 in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So that was mind-blowing. So imagine having $200,000 in the middle of nowhere. He could have probably bought 100,000 acres.
Yeah.
Easy.
No, sure. I mean, because I have a couple of cousins that moved out to like the middle of Pennsylvania, and they have fucking mansions that were like $100,000.
Yeah. Like the man was independently wealthy at that point in his life.
Yeah.
He never had to come back, but I guess he came back for
For
Debbie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a pretty
For
good.
his- for his
That's a pretty
bastard
good
kid.
theory.
So I kind of felt like Martin was like the Jon Snow of the story. Like that was my immediate thought from. The
Oh,
very
he
first
definitely
scene.
was.
And then so a couple filmmaking things. So when I saw the scene where the farmhouse is burning made me immediately think of Star Wars Episode 4, where Luke's uncle's farm's burning, and it is. It's George Lucas took that scene directly from this movie. So which sort of shows how good George Lucas is, that he could like evoke this classic movie that perfectly.
Yeah. I had to look up something real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Did you hear that fact?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I didn't know though. I didn't think of this when I was watching it because I thought George Lucas did this better. But in episode 2 of Star Wars, when Anakin murders that Tusken Raider village, whatever they are, that's taken from when they charge into the Comanche camp in this movie as well.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah. So, but I mean, I thought the Anakin scene was awesome. I mean, the prequels have a lot of bad things in them, but that scene was awesome.
The only thing I don't like about the prequels
Yeah.
is Anakin.
Yeah.
The actor's terrible.
Has he acted in other stuff?
Yeah, he's done other stuff. He's just as terrible.
Yeah.
If the first Anakin, he's terrible.
Yeah.
And then the guy in the second 2 movies,
Yeah.
terrible. The movies would have been good if it wasn't for him. People were like, "Oh, Jar Jar Binks is the worst part." Jar Jar Binks is annoying, but he's not the worst part of the movie. I think your main actor is a terrible actor.
So you don't like? I don't like sand. It's
No,
coarse.
it's terrible.
Gets everywhere. Like you don't like that line.
No.
So Jar Jar Binks is actually really really interesting. I believe he was the first 100% CG character, in films. So he actually he was pretty revolutionary. For like filmmaking wise. So
No, actually I read a whole story on this.
Yeah.
Speaking about race from earlier, the guy who did the mocap for him, he wore like prosthetics, but people got real mad because the guy who did the mocap for Jar Jar Binks were mad because he was black.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar Binks was the black character of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the second is that guy who did the mocap for Jar Jar Binks got like death threats
Oh really?
for
Wow.
being like the worst character of all
messed
all
up.
time. Yeah, like the Gungans. So I read something about how like the Gungans were like the black race of Star Wars, and like then they were mad because like it was just like people getting mad about just getting mad about stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, they wrote them as the black characters, and then the Watto, he was the Jewish character because he was like money hungry. Like I read this whole thing, and then like they're like, and they got a black guy to do the mocap for Jar Jar Binks, and I was like, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
Like I was
mean,
like, what?
I mean, maybe he was just a dude that happened to have the proportions they wanted, like,
Yeah.
and had nothing to do with his race.
No, he's done other mocap stuff.
Okay,
like
yeah,
his
well, there
stuff
you go.
is like
It's like
sound work on
professional-
mocap. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that Anakin Skywalker theme scene I thought better than the charging the Comanche camp scene in this movie, but yeah, because I don't remember the scene, but it's great because he goes in, he's so angry. It's the only good acting he does in the entire trilogy. He's so angry, he murders all those raiders, and then in the background they softly play the Darth Vader theme as they cut away from it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually I think a big thing is I don't know. I think I'm appreciating more and more how good how much the audio plays into, how much the soundtrack plays into some of these. Like in this one.
Oh, there's the one scene where it was like slapstick and they had like the slapstick on.
Yes,
You're like,
that's exactly what I'm thinking of. When so the scene is Ethan and what's the other guy's name?
Martin.
And Martin. Ethan and Martin, it's when they first go off alone, because Ben dies. So they both go off alone, and Ethan knows that the guy that they got advice from is going to follow them and try to kill them. So he basically lets Martin lay sort of as a trap and sneaks around the side.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then
The storekeeper.
Yeah, and the storekeeper and another guy sneak up on them, and actually I think two other guys, I think is what they reference later. And Ethan, I guess, ambushes their ambush and kills them all. And then And then Martin's like, "Oh, well, you left me out. You left me out here to die." And he's like, "Oh, well, it was fine." And then Martin was like, "Well, what if you missed?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't think I was gonna miss." And it's like, yeah. And it's even like the pan in like where the character just shrugged.
I didn't think I was gonna miss. It's like it was like a very serious scene too.
Yeah, after they just murdered 3 guys.
Yeah, but did you notice there was no music? Like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go look for Lucy, the older daughter, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for Lucy's body. You guys stay here." And he comes back and I'm like, "Hey, Rev, where's your coat?" And he's like, "I lost it." You know, like he you know what he's seeing at that point.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, what'd you see? Don't tell me it was." He's like, "I saw something you never wanted." Like he was like upset about it.
Yeah.
And like right there, like the music was him yelling.
Yeah.
Like that was the soundtrack right there, like him yelling. You're like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? It was a very powerful scene without music, without So that was a super good scene because they had other scenes in the movie where like that were supposed to be powerful, but you hear like the orchestra in the background to like cut out, to like give you like put you in a mood, like the mood. John Wayne put you in the mood.
Yeah.
But for being like 48, 49 in this movie, is like right before John Wayne got fat and gross.
Yeah.
And like, but he like looked good in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he was an imposing man.
Yeah. Well, yes. Scar named him Wide Shoulders.
Yeah, yeah. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. Like, and personal life, he's a Republican.
Oh, really?
But at the same time, he was like a very like liberal guy.
So he was like a libertarian then.
Yeah. But so if you think this movie was racist, the movie right after this or right before, also 1950s, I think it was right after this, was I forget what it was called, but it was him playing Genghis Khan.
Huh. Really?
It's one of the worst movies ever
That's
made.
interesting. I really want to watch that.
Yeah. So I'll bring up a screenshot for you.
Okay. As a side note, I saw the new Spider-Man movie. That's what I really want to talk about, but I guess we won't.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We can.
I want to see this John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Are you saying John Wayne as Genghis Khan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see just the thumbnail. Oh yeah. That's like Johnny Depp playing that Indian chief guy.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. So there's one more thing I want to talk about. We could talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I found this movie very offensive to 1/8 of my heritage.
Yeah.
I'm 1/8 Blackfoot Indian.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, or 1/16. My mom was a quarter Indian.
So you'd be an eighth.
Yeah, I'm an eighth.
Yeah.
Did extensive research.
So
yeah.
that allows us to use the word Indian.
Yeah.
So,
How dare you?
so we're good. I mean, I can't use it, but as a podcast, we can.
Well, my mom's, and I've seen the evidence before people call me out on it. My mom's family, Irish family, came over here in the late 1600s as slaves.
Okay.
And then, long story short, her great grandmother married a 100% Blackfoot Indian.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was Cherokee. It's Blackfoot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was looking up. They're from Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The Black Hills.
So overall, what did you think about the movie?
It was good. So I thought, the middle dragged a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know the whole search took 5 years.
Yeah. But yeah, while it dragged, I didn't really get a sense of the time scale either. Like it felt just like these isolated events that didn't flow together that well.
Yeah, well, at the end, I thought it was 2 years.
Yeah,
because they showed 2 winners.
2 winners, yeah.
Yeah, but then they're like, you're gone for 5 years. I was like, 5 years, Jesus, Christmas.
So I mean, I could have used a little montage, a little seasons changing montage in the middle somewhere. But yeah, so it was okay. I liked the one last point about whether this movie's racist or not was at the end where I think the last the last 2 minutes of the movie, again, there's this climax and there's like 2 minutes of like wrap up at the end, and when he decides to save Debbie and not kill her, but then he gets left on the outside. I think it sort of shows. I mean, you can't just have this deathbed confession. You can't live this racist, deplorable life and then like change your mind at the end and it's all fine. Like you can't just erase all your past actions.
It shows repercussions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love the movie. I thought it was great. The next week's movie, which I doubt you've seen, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
They have like a draggy part in the middle too, where they go to a diner and they dance. It's just very draggy. So Kev here thinks that this is going to be the most racist movie on the list, and I assure him that Birth of a Nation is a little more racist.
That's another John Ford film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I think an earlier John Ford film, which makes sense.
So next week's is 1994's Pulp Fiction, which has like a super like long racist scene. Lots of racial epithet.
Good.
But I think
all we talk about.
Yeah. I think this movie's on Netflix.
Oh,
so
God.
yeah. So,
dude, I'm tired of paying $2.99 to $3.99 for like 50 to 80-year-old fucking movies. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
this movie was $3.99.
Yeah.
To rent for 48 hours.
Yeah, I know.
Like you should be selling me the movie for $3.99. The movie is 70 years old.
Yeah. But I think you're gonna like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's
I've always wanted to watch it. Like honestly, most of the rest of the movies I've never heard of.
There's two racist parts of this film. The end of it is so it's pretty. It gets there's some racist stuff.
Yeah. So bonus content about Spider-Man. So did you see it yet?
Oh yeah.
So in the first few minutes of the movie. So I mean, literally, like I've I've had all these conversations with people over the last, couple months since Endgame came out about like, oh, what's going to happen next with the Avengers? Who's going to lead the Avengers? What happens with people that come back from the snap, which is now the blip? And Spider-Man literally like it's like they had a checklist and like they answer them all.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, which I think is awesome. It's literally the newscast.
Yeah,
exactly.
between two children.
It's awesome. And then I mean, and this movie, I mean, could really be subtitled, it was Spider-Man 2, Iron Man 4. It's really such a great, it's such a great tribute to Iron Man, which is what we need because he's been the leader. He's been the main focus for the last 10 years. So it's great because sort of in universe and in our world, we sort of need the same wrap up. So they're able to do both simultaneously in the same film, which is awesome.
Yeah. What I liked about is, real quick, there's one thing that was missing.
Yeah.
So
there wasn't anything missing.
No, there's a scene missing.
Yeah.
There's this scene missing, sorry, I'm a little jumbled here.
Yeah.
He picks Spider-Man, Nick Fury in quotes, picks up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's Jake Gyllenhaal, or Mysterio, right?
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Yeah.
So he picks him up, right? He does the whole illusion thing. He fakes Nick Fury getting shot in the back and Spider-Man. Then right after that, he meets with Nick Fury in Berlin, right?
Yeah.
Like, they don't show that at all. And then they end up in London. Right?
I don't remember now.
Like, it wasn't the whole thing wasn't set up. Nick Fury actually, quotation Nick Fury, the Skrull Nick Fury, meets up, has to meet up with him in Berlin.
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he ever actually meets up with them. Because I think he just meets up with that guy and then he sort of escapes.
Because after the end of the fight with the fire monster, which was awesome, he's like, I'm meeting up Mysterio in Berlin at Europol. I need you there too, Spider-Man. Was that Nick Fury part all set up?
Oh no, where he meets him like sort of underground. That scene you mean when he first meets Mysterio?
No. After the fire monster, Nick Fury and Maria Hill
Maria
show up and he's like, we're going to go to Europol and I want you, Mysterio, at Europol in Berlin tomorrow, and Spider-Man, you should be there as well. Was that like a real scene?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like something like I'd have to. I was like, wait. So I was very confusing.
Yeah.
I was very confused. But I think they'll have to explain it, or there's loopholes. I mean, I don't care if they don't explain it because the movie was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get her name wrong.
Yeah.
Zendaya.
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 She's fucking awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Because she was awesome in this movie.
See in The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, she was awesome in The Greatest
Yeah.
Showman.
Yeah.
She was awesome in the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then there's like a movie there's a show on HBO. It's about her, like a 17-year-old, like as a drug addict that won't go back to rehab like I want to watch.
Yeah.
She can sing, dance, and act.
Yeah, she's pretty
Like
awesome.
she's awesome. She's gonna be a giant star.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, the scene where Peter Parker like sort of takes over as Iron Man when they're on that airplane
On the jet.
Yeah, when they're on the jet and he starts designing his suit and then like Happy has like this like a smile and look at him.
Right.
My sister cried hysterically.
Really?
Yeah, because she's been a huge Iron Man fan since the first movie. I remember when we were, because it was 12 years ago now.
Yeah,
so,
2008.
So she was a teenager. I remember she had like an Iron Man glove like back then, like when it first came out. So I think even more so for her, he was like a special character, and then now it's like this great father-son relationship they have, and him passing everything on to him, and Peter Parker taking it over. And what I thought was awesome is they managed to make two separate heroes' journeys story for the same character.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Because the first Spider-Man's a hero's journey story where he doesn't really want to be, an Avenger, where he sort of is like wants to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and doesn't think he can really save the world. And then he is an Avenger now, and now he doesn't want to lead the Avengers.
Bits, please. You were in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't. Yeah, and then he doesn't want to be an Avenger anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and then they do this whole thing like overseas. It was great.
Yeah.
And May's still hot.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that they gave his friends stuff to do.
Yeah.
They weren't just background characters. They were really involved in the film.
Yeah. FOS, Friends of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ned's a great supporting character.
He is really good character.
Good. Yeah. Their whole plan, like he's like, yeah, we're gonna be single bachelors in Europe, and it's like we're dating. It's like it is very like true to being 16.
Yeah. I couldn't. That's when we're talking about the music. This is where I wanted to go with this, and I couldn't think of what it was. But because yesterday, so on TV, and this is right when I fell asleep super early. The original Avengers was on one channel and Suicide Squad was on another channel.
Oh my god!
So I mean, you couldn't have different sides of the spectrum movie wise. But what I was thinking is, as far as one of the things, because Suicide Squad, they had all this it was one of these ridiculous where like jukebox sort of movies where they have all this modern music plays while they're introducing characters and stuff. There isn't as much sort of stuff composed for the film. So how much in some DC movies the scores take away from the film versus in the Avengers movie. Like I can just think of like so many moments when there's like when the action builds and then they do a quick like run of the Avengers theme and it's fucking awesome. Like,
yeah.
Like when like
it's like you're a Power Ranger. Like you're like it's morphin' time. Like
exactly.
You know what's going on. You get excited.
Like I think probably the best scene. I think I talked 1 week or two ago about the one marvelous scene thing on YouTube. Mine would be in Infinity Wars where Scarlet Witch and Vision get ambushed, and then they're trying to fight off those Black Order guys. And then there's like the train passes by and there's the shadow, and then the Avengers theme starts to play, and then the light goes on Captain America.
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, like even women get erect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Very good. So Spider-Man Far From Home is probably it's
Yeah.
probably right now Thor 3 and Spider-Man Far From Home are my favorite
Yeah,
movies.
this could be one of the best. Yeah, that could be for me too.
My one friend, he saw it too, and he was talking about that part where Mysterio like tricks him, shows him like MJ is falling,
Yeah,
like MJ's falling,
yeah,
and like he goes after her, but he just smashes into the concrete. Like
yeah,
that would have killed us.
yeah,
Like I would have had a broken neck.
yeah. I don't know. And when Peter Parker uses the fucking Force to like fight Mysterio, that scene's
Peter
awesome
Tingle.
in so many ways. Because not only like thematically, it's awesome, just in universe, it's awesome. The cinematography is awesome. Like everything about it's awesome.
He dodges the bullet at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. Just that was such a cool looking scene.
And they keep saying Peter Tingle.
Yeah.
His Tingle is like hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. That's like the bathos stuff that I think Marvel gets right, and like some people criticize Marvel for, but I think they do that stuff better than anyone.
Right.
Like that's
That's not a lowball joke. Like it's
Yeah.
a hilarious joke. Like it's
and
something.
it makes sense.
It's something your middle-aged mom or like
Yeah.
aunt in this case would say. Like she's totally ignorant of the fact like Peter could mean penis and Tingle could mean like penis tingle, and they keep saying Peter Tingle.
Yeah.
Like she's totally ignorant of it. You're like that's fucking hilarious because like I could see my mom saying that.
Yeah, like it makes sense. Like like the joke makes sense. Like obviously it's there for a cheap laugh and for like a little bit release attention.
Right.
But it works. It's I don't know.
But they didn't start saying Peter Tingle in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
They set it up in the beginning of the film, and then Happy reminds you like like your aunt said your Tingle thing. He's like
Yeah.
stop calling it Tingle, and then like towards he's like I gotta use my Peter Tingle.
Yeah, well, which again, he's a stressed out 16-year-old. Like he might pop into his head.
Right.
I don't know. It's very different than grizzled old fucking 50-year-old Batman like making a stupid joke in the middle of like.
I have a Peter Tingle. You're like
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it.
yeah, this is my favorite movie. It's better than The Searchers.
Yeah, it was better than the
not a boring part.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, next week's Pulp Fiction. This week, The Searchers. Tune in next week. We're going to watch another movie from the 90s. Kevin should have seen, but hasn't.
Nah, I haven't seen it.
We should actually name this podcast to 100 Greatest Movies Kevin's never seen.
Yes.
Some of which Jay has seen.
I'm the outsider in this. It's good.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure the Outsiders are on this. No,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
not. It's a terrible movie. Thanks for listening. Oh, bonus pod.
Nice.
Yep.